Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm joined now by UNCP baseball head coach Paul O'Neill. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
The Braves are more than halfway through the season now, 22-9 overall, 9-6 record in the Peach Belt Conference. We sat down with you about 3 weeks ago and talked about the abundance of youth with your team this year, but you have to be pleased with 22 wins so far.
Absolutely. I'm pleased where we're at right now. We seem to be on pace where we have been in years past. We've had a lot of growth through this point of the season. And I'm really happy to see the direction we're going.
What are some of the areas that you've seen the biggest improvements with in your team in 2016, and what are some of the things that continue to frustrate you?
I think our improvements, we've improved offensively throughout the year. Our approach has gotten a little bit better as the season has progressed. Our pitching at times has been very good. So I think those are the two areas that we're showing the most growth right now with our team. An area that we've got to improve upon is our team defense. That's kind of let us down a few times this year. That's just an area that we've got to keep practicing at, keep working at, and it's just not one specific area. It's team in general. Whether it's somebody making a mistake in the outfield or making a mistake in the infield or whatnot. So that's probably our biggest improvement area.
Black and Gold comes into this week having won 8 of the last 9, including Peach Belt Conference wins, series wins against Georgia Southwestern and Young Harris. What have been some of the keys to success during the recent hot play for your team?
Well, I think it starts with the pitching that we've had. We've gotten very good starting pitching in those series, which has allowed us to get out and establish ourselves throughout the game. So it starts with pitching. If we're going to continue to win, we've got to pitch well. And like I said, we've got to improve on our team defense.
Now, looking to the other side now, looking at the offense, last year, obviously, a very good offensive team. This year, down a little bit, averaging just under 8 runs per game, which is still really a lot. It ranks in the top third in the Peach Belt Conference for most statistical offensive categories. Have you been pleased with the progression of your offense so far?
Yes. I mean, the offense, like I said, has improved. It's getting better as the kids are playing more games, getting more at-bats under their belts. They're understanding exactly what their approach needs to be if they're going to be able to hit quality pitching.
Pitching-wise, the Braves are in the middle of the pack in terms of team earned run average, but rank 4th among league leaders with 8.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. What has impressed you the most about your pitching staff?
Well, I think the first thing is trying to get ahead. Being able to throw strike one is the most important pitch, of the at-bat. If we can get ahead of the hitter, then that sets up everything else that we're trying to do on the mound. Yes, we have had a lot of strikeouts. We've got some guys that definitely have an out pitch on our staff, and they've done a good job of putting guys away when they've been ahead.
Defense has been a little bit of a concern for you. We talked about it a little bit. Don't want to nitpick too much, don't want to harp on the negatives. The Braves fielding .957 as a team and are averaging a little more than 1.5 errors per game. Is that just the result of the youth movement on your team?
I'm really not sure what it's a result of. I mean, it's a combination of things. Like I said before, it hasn't been just one particular area. It hasn't been just the infielders or just the outfielders or the catchers or the pitchers. It's just been a team thing in general where we've made some mistakes and we've made them in bunches, and that's why our fielding percentage is as low as it is right now. When we've made a mistake, we've compounded the mistake by making 1, 2, 3 in a ball game, and it is what it is.
You've played a lot of home games at this point in the season. Means your schedule's a little bit backloaded. A lot of road games, a lot of Peach Belt Conference road games coming up in the next month. Talk about the importance of mental toughness and being able to play on the road.
Well, I think anytime you play at home, you've got an advantage because you get to sleep in your own bed. Going on the road, first of all, you've got to be physically fit because you do have the travel element that's put into it. You've got to be on top of your academics because you don't want to have your mind somewhere else thinking, wow, we're traveling, I'm going to miss class, I'm going to be away. So if you take care of those first two things, your physical and your academics, the baseball is easier to handle. So, we do have a lot of road games coming up that are league games, that are important games for us, but I think we'll do just fine.
Seems maybe a little bit early to be looking at the Peach Belt Conference standings, but your team is right in the thick of the race right now. What's the message to a team at this point, especially a young team, in terms of thinking about jockeying for PBC tournament seeding?
Well, it's way too early to be thinking about tournament seeding and so forth. we have to focus first. Our energy, is on our next game, which is Wingate on Wednesday. So we have to focus on them and trying to play well against them. And then we move towards USC Aiken, who is in first place right now in our league. So you take each game that's in front of you. We've got to try to do the very best that we possibly can and try to win as many games as we can, going through the rest of March into the month of April.
Paul O'Neill, we need to take our last break here on the Black and Gold Report. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. Here once again with UNCP baseball head coach Paul O'Neill. Coach, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
You've got some pretty consistent hitting from a number of guys in your batting order, but one of the players that stands out is junior Stabel Aliman Saba. He leads your team with a .410 batting average, 32 runs batted in. He's hitting .538 with runners in scoring position this season, and 2/3 of his RBI have come from inside league play. Talk about Stabel a little bit, his potential for the rest of this season and into next year.
Well, Stabel obviously is a quality hitter in our program. Some of the things that make him successful, at the plate is, one is his attitude. He doesn't let a lot of things bother him. He doesn't get uptight. He's a very relaxed kid. He's very confident. So when he steps up into the batter's box and there's guys in scoring position, he's not having a lot of anxiety where some other guys might be experiencing some anxieties, which allows him to slow the game down, allows him to swing at better pitches, allows him to put the fat part of the bat on the ball, hence leads to more RBIs and more base hits. And I think that's a huge characteristic for him, is his ability to relax and to enjoy the moment, and some of our guys need to take a page from him and see what he's doing a little bit, and that will help their game also, but Stabel's having a great year, so far. We hope he continues to have the success he's been having, for the next 5 weeks of the season and so forth. But he's getting it done for us right now.
Another key offensive player for you has been Roberto Rivera. He's hit better than .400 in the leadoff position for you over the last 14 games. He's also come up with some pretty clutch hits for you recently. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, Roberto, since we've moved him to the front of the lineup, has been very successful. Probably the biggest thing for Roberto is he's extremely competitive. His competitiveness, he wants to be successful. He does not want to fail. He is locked in when he's at the plate. I think he's doing an outstanding job for us. I think he's excelling. I think we're getting the most out of him right now. But he's just such a competitive kid. He doesn't want to let anybody down. He's playing as hard as he possibly can. And he's being rewarded for that with getting hits and knocking runs in. He's definitely one of the guys that we want at the plate. If it's a pressure situation, he just does not want to fail. And I'm very happy that we've got him on our team, and I'm very happy how he prepares and what he brings to the ball club.
Now, we talked a lot about your hitting. You talked earlier about the pitching staff and how it kind of all starts on the mound. And although he took his first loss of the season on Friday at Young Harris, Jesse Stinnett has come into his own on the mound. The transfer from Maryland Eastern Shore is 5-1 this season with a 3.04 ERA over a team best 53 1/3 innings of work. Has he become the type of pitcher you hoped he would develop into?
Oh, I think he's exactly the pitcher that we wanted him to be. I mean, Jesse had a really good fall for us. He's had a good spring so far. He gives us a chance when he goes to the mound. He's a big kid, so he's durable. He's going to give you a chance. I mean, some days you go out and you can watch him and his stuff is very dominant. Other days you watch him and his stuff is not as dominant, but he competes and he gives us a chance. He moves the ball around. He can pitch on both sides of the plate. He can spin it. He does a good job holding runners. All those things are positives. And when you can run a guy out there in game one that you feel like is going to give you 7 innings of work right there, that saves the bullpen, it keeps you in the game. This past weekend he went CG for us. Unfortunately he didn't get the win, but he was locked into a pitching duel and we didn't score enough runs obviously for him or get enough hits when we needed. But he is definitely doing everything that he's supposed to do in that one spot in our rotation.
Really quickly, Coach, an important weekend series against USC Aiken. You mentioned they're the leader in the Peach Belt Conference right now. What are one or two keys to success for your team in the upcoming schedule?
Well, USC Aiken is playing really well right now. They're a quality opponent. They're going to be very athletic. They're going to be complete. In order for us to be successful against them, we've got to make sure that they earn everything that they get. We can't make mistakes and give them 90 feet. If they move 90 feet, they got to do something, whether they got to bunt or steal. They got to do something to get the 90 feet. Obviously Jesse and our pitching staff, all of them have to pitch well, and we got to have some timely hitting.
Coach Paul O'Neill with the Braves taking on USC Aiken this weekend, a big Peach Belt Conference series. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for joining us. That's all the time we have for the Black and Gold Report this week. For the coaches and our entire staff, I'm Cameron Songer. Until next week, go Braves.